Good morning, gentlemen. This is what I've picked up so far. But I've came to my workshop to drop off these boilers, this little bit of non-ferrous and this box. I've managed to get a replacement gas bottle for my heater today. I got this from the Co-op petrol station and they charged me £80 for it. And I looked on the Caller website and it's only £56 if you have a empty bottle to replace it with. But the Co-op charged me £80. I also discovered on the website that this type of gas is for indoor heating and it only works at temperatures down to -2. So that might actually be why it wasn't working properly on my heater. It may be so cold that the gas doesn't flow properly. But we'll find out now that I've got a full bottle. I'm got to go again. I'll be back here later though. I've still got a few jobs to pick up, but it was just convenient for me to come here and wait for the traffic to die down, the rush hour traffic, so I'll go and pick up a few more jobs and then I'll come back again. I was passing by the scrapyard, so I thought I might as well come in and get the van empty. I've got a few jobs to collect after this though. That's my van empty. I've got a wee bit of dirty alley, I'll leave that on the van for the next time. And I've got some cable, some motors, that's about it. I've got a wee boiler to collect. And I've got some cash I need to give this plumber. Not for this boiler, but for some other stuff I've had off him. Got some radiators to collect, possibly some kitchen stuff. Radiators, dishwasher, oven, washing machine, and some sort of table. Got some radiators, some conduit, a little bit of cable to collect. Got a boiler, some radiators. Job looks messy, very messy. Is it unreasonable for me to expect the rubbish to be inside the rubbish box? Came home to get a little bit of breakfast / lunch before I go back out. My wife's made me toast and cold meat, tomato sauce and a wee cup of tea. I'm back at my workshop. It's nice to be able to bring the van inside out the rain. I'm going to drop off some boilers, some boiler packaging and sort out my little bits of non-ferrous again. This is some other jobs that I picked up. I didn't want to film every single job. I think I might keep that little table. I'll show you. That's my van ready for work tomorrow. I'll show you this wee table. I've got this one that I keep my cable stripper on. And when I go to use my cable stripper, I pull it out and run here. But this one's got wheels on it. What do you think? Keep it or scrap it? Seems too nice to scrap. But I'm terrible for keeping things that I really don't need to keep. But I could justify it if I swap it and I scrap that one. Otherwise I just don't have space for it. I don't have space for both of them. How do you feel about this angle? I'm not sure how I feel about it. But I've noticed that Project Shop Florida, he has a sort of downward angle over his workbench. I'm waiting for Black Friday because I've been watching DJI action cameras. So I'm waiting to see if the price goes down on Black Friday, which is this Friday. And then I'll buy a proper, not a GoPro, but the DJI version, because I've been looking at the reviews and stuff and I think the DJI might be better than the GoPro. So I will keep trying to improve my camera quality. I might buy a mic as well, because I realise that if I walk too far away from the phone, sometimes you can't hear me. So, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to do too much here today because it's already quite late. I'm just going to tidy my bench up a little bit, and then I'll probably just run some more motors through this machine just to spend the last 45 minutes of the day before I go home. Put my wee apron on. This is going to become a thing for you to see. You can see how much better I get at putting it on each time. I'm confident today, I'm confident. Got to try and be more careful with it this time. Aye, that's it, that's it. So, right, it's easy, it's easy. I was watching back yesterday's video where I was editing it, and I thought, that felt like it took me 10 minutes to get the button on the back. This felt strange there. In fact, I'm going to stop this. Well, I'm not going to stop it now, but I realised I'm doing things that I should be using my cutters for. Aye, that's what I bought it for, so, right. I'm not going to start cleaning the top up. That's an old habit there, that's an old habit. I'm just going to put it in that bucket. I will clean this, I will clean this. All this stuff can go to the cropper later on. I'll do this. I've had to stop putting music on while I'm in the workshop because YouTube will give me a copyright strike. I've already had two, I think, my first two videos. So I need to be more careful of that. Do you know what I think of these things? Like, I'm not even sure if he's heard me there when I said there's a little bit of copper and I held it up. Because I feel like I'm talking to myself, so I tend not to speak loudly when I'm talking to myself, if that makes sense. I don't know if he's, I don't think I really showed it in yesterday's video, but after having a bit of practice with this, I definitely got a bit better at it. Let me try and set you something else now. I can never find a good place to put these. That's why I was saying about that. That's why I was speaking about having an action camera. I think that if I get an action camera, you'll see a much more wider view, if that makes sense. Aye, so I don't think you really seen it in yesterday's video, but this is the sort of thing that you definitely get better at with practice. I don't know if you've seen the manufacturers of it, they advertise on TikTok. They show little videos of them being used, but the people that are using them have obviously been using them for a long time, because they just spin them round, no problem, and they do it in minutes or like seconds even. But for me, I'm trying to position it properly, and I'm trying to wank the lever just a little bit, and then with the claws I'm trying to be very careful not to catch the leaves. So definitely something you get better at with practice. Let's have a look and see if you think I've improved since yesterday. That was better. That was better. So you can see sort of how quickly it should be. I need a bucket to put the waste in. So I like to keep a little bucket down here. So you can see how quick it can be. But keep in mind that I'm also using this to strip motors that the machine is actually not designed for. I've had to make alterations to it just so it can strip motors this small. It's really made. It's really made for strip motors that size. See the difference? So, but it does the job. Does the job. I'm not going to bore you with this, but I'll show you how I get on once I've done a few of them. Actually, before I get started again, if you've seen my video yesterday, they give you a little oil can. They give you a little oil can with this, which I put in here. Right, a little scoosh in there. I thought that would be good for it. But where else should I oil? I have no idea. These are just spring loaded, so I don't think there's much oiling required on that. What is this part though? I assume that's like a little gearbox of some sort. Should I put oil in there? Somebody let me know please in the comments, because I have no idea. I mean, this piston, that I shouldn't need to oil that. Same with that one at the back there. But this, I wasn't sure if I should put a bit of oil on that. This barrel feels never ending, but I need to go home now. I've got some big ones in it. I'm quite looking forward to trying them in the machine. And I managed to get my other bucket full. There's good weight in these little buckets. Anyway, I'm going home, gentlemen. Before I go in the house, gentlemen, I've got a very important message. You better have done your homework, Stevie Grace.